wasn't going to tell you this, but we're live now.
Hey guys! Welcome to this episode of Bits and Tokens, aka according to Tim, he wants to do a drone crypto. Poor liver.
Listen, drone crypto's fun. It's so much fun.
I'm sure it is. Except it's the middle of the week. But no biggie.
It's actually the beginning of the week.
If you count Sunday, and tomorrow's Wednesday.
If you count Sunday, you'd be counting it as the weekend. So there's that part.
Well, Sunday technically starts a new week.
Sunday is technically the weekend.
But it's also the beginning of a new week.
Do you work on Sunday?
I do not.
Oh, because it's the weekend.
But I work on Saturday, and that's also the weekend.
Yeah, you work on the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually calendars, they start Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Calendars have no bearing on which part is the week and which part is the weekend.
Oh. I mean, I guess.
So what's your weekend then? One day? That makes no sense.
If you work overtime, it sure does.
In your instance, that would make Sunday the weekend then, not Saturday.
I guess.
Logic wins.
I never said it wasn't the weekend.
Logic
but
wins.
It's the beginning of the week.
It's not.
Yes, it is. Logic wins. Psh. Anyways, hi guys. I hope you guys are doing well today. Today we're just going to touch base on a couple things we have going on here. I'm sure you've seen a little bit of much. I've been seeing a little more fraud in the news lately, more than anything, unfortunately.
Oh, like what?
Well, I saw that there was a CEO, a crypto bank that was, well, the owner of it got arrested.
Oh, what?
So that was a whole thing.
Oh, forget my stories. I want to look that up. Hold on.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing.
Bank.
They got sanctioned by the SEC, of course. I think it was in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
So then it wasn't the SEC that sanctioned them, was it?
Well, they're securities, because every country has their own securities.
Right.
So, not our SEC, their SEC.
Well, it wouldn't be called the SEC. It would be called something else.
But it said the SEC. The Securities Commission Exchange, yeah.
Exchange Commission?
Exchange Commission. Anyways, so
where was it? This was in Canada?
I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, it was crypto bank gets shut. Let's put shut down.
Nope, that's Iran. What? Where's what? This sounds great. I want to pull this up ASAP.
There's one in Nigeria that got shut down.
Crypto bank shut down.
If I'm not mistaken, unless I'm missing two stories up. Shuts down another. Okay, that's a different one. One in Texas got halted.
I feel like I might have seen it like on the side on TradingView.
Yeah, I was reading it. I was just kind of like looking at it. There was something else. There was another story regarding someone else who recently got arrested because they had faulty. I'm not talking about DJ Khaled and Mayweather. There was another one, someone else that recently got arrested.
For something similar to what they got arrested for?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
very
that's the whole thing, guys. Be careful out there. If you're sitting here, planning on endorsing people, be careful. Because you probably shouldn't endorse someone who's offering you just about anything in this space right now. To be completely honest, just to be safe for yourself. Unless you really, really trust these people, you know this product, and you know that they're reliable, don't endorse nobody. Like, I don't know who you are watching, if you're a celebrity, if you're somebody, in that space, but literally DJ Khaled and Mayweather, they can't endorse anything for like the next 3 years, and they had to pay fines.
So I think they would have been fine if
to see if we're online. Yes. Are we online? Yay, yay. I hope I didn't break anybody's ears by listening to me.
Okay. Really sorry about that. Usually we don't have auditions while we are live streaming.
We also usually don't, like, you know, not have audio at the very beginning. But anyways, back to our story. What's going on?
I don't know. I wasn't the last person live streaming, so gonna blame an unknown figure.
Oh, we're playing the blame game. I see. I wonder who set up, though. Thought we had a checklist. Anyways, so back to our search here. The one that I'm seeing most recently that's been shut down is in Nigeria. Apparently, they shut down accounts for crypto transaction. There was an actual bank that got shut down, a crypto bank. I don't see it. I don't know why. I literally was reading the article and I don't see it here. This is crazy. But yeah, there was a Nigerian bank apparently that got shut down accounts that was using cryptocurrency for funding. I'm assuming what they were doing is they were using the Nigerian account to fund their cryptocurrency transactions. And of course, because of regulations and this, that, and the third, and the fear of those countries more so fear fraud and money laundering, just because they're what's that new word that's not their real country? A developing country?
Developing nation.
Developing nation, because they're a developing nation, and fraud and money laundering is something that's very, very common in those areas of the world, you know, at this time. However, crypto crook cuffed by the FBI. Aha! I see something.
Was that it?
I see something. Maybe.
I really want to like pull that up if that's a thing.
So an alleged crypto crook CEO cuffed by the FBI after $4 million investment in his bank buffly vanished. I think this one's it. I'm pretty sure this one's it because it definitely talks about the CEO getting cuffed, which is what I read, and then it talks about his bank, and of course it looks like he had a crypto bank, and it vanished. So I feel like this is a story here, and it was recent. So yes, Arise Bank, the CEO of Arise Bank, a Texas-based upstart, has billed itself as the world's first decentralized banking platform and has been arrested by the FBI and charged with securities and wire fraud. So it looks like this guy kind of just made himself a check and didn't have actual funds to back up that check and made things bounce, which is kind of like money laundering.
Wow.
Which is why he got, I'm sure that's why he got caught for wire fraud, because he wired inexisting money. So that's pretty.
I think wiring fraudulent money would count as money fraud.
Yeah.
I think so.
Just a little bit. $4 million though. I don't know what he was thinking. That's a big number. Nobody's not paying attention to that one. I'm pretty sure the number for someone like not to pay attention is maybe a couple thousand. For the IRS, 3,000 to be exact. For the FBI, 250.
You said they had celebrity endorsers as well. They did have
celebrity endorsers. Oh no.
I'm reading this one right here. It says that they had Evander Holyfield. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the guy that got his ear bit by Mike Tyson? You might be too young for that, but that was like a big thing.
What?
Research, could you look into that for me, please? I'd like to know if Evander Holyfield was the one who was bitten by Mike Tyson way back in the day. I'm pretty sure it was. Mike just came in and just took a whole.
That is actually
and then spit it right out onto the.
Funny. He like ate his ear, like
yeah,
for
they're
real?
like boxing, and like sometimes in boxing you get close. Research says, yeah, okay, I didn't misremember that. Wow. So apparently he can hear well enough now to endorse cryptocurrencies. Yeah, Mike Tyson sure did bite his whole ear. That was a thing.
Wow. Oh yes, I see it. Oh my gosh, he literally bit this man's ear. That's crazy.
Oh man, his ear is still like not the same.
No, you like once it's off, it's off. Like cartilage just doesn't grow back like that. Oh my gosh, that's
not funny. I shouldn't be laughing at that. That's actually terrible.
That's some Florida man kind of stunt right there. Like that's crazy. Where's Mike Tyson from? Man, this is getting questionable. Whoa, jeez.
Mike Tyson's a very nice man. Mike, if you're listening
Is
to this,
he now?
if you're listening to this, I respect you, and I think you're fantastic. That's
He
all I'm
just
gonna
doesn't
say
want you
about
to
that.
come and bite his ear off.
I don't want you to do nothing to me, Mike Tyson. I've seen the way you punch, and he has a tiger. You gotta be real like ballsy to own a tiger, like.
That's pretty cool.
Cause like y'all have a pit bull, you know what I mean? And like I'm super cool with that. Cause like if anything, like if you were to just go crazy one day, bow one time, and that's it, you know what I mean? Like you have to feel that same way about a tiger if you own that tiger. That you could just bow one time and they're just like, all right, you win.
You're right. That big old beast. I don't know, but anyways. So Arise Bank, some fishy activity there. So apparently last summer, it was found that it would provide everyday banking accounts to customers to store their cryptocurrencies. That was their original motto. And the accounts would be secured by the U.S. government, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC.
The FDIC was gonna, wow.
Apparently,
Wow.
or so he claimed.
That's a
and the
red
bank
flag.
would have its own cryptocurrency, Arise Coin, sold in an initial coin offering for funding. So it looks like he had set up a nice flashy website, of course, and promoted heavily on social media. Thank God I didn't come across it. And now Unleashed document here filed this month in Dallas court, kind of just stating everything that he did. And you're right, the boxer here, Mr. Holyfield, he did endorse him.
Now, did he disclose that he was getting paid from them? Because that is apparently
good
important.
Question.
That's important to the SEC. They care about that kind of stuff.
So maybe, so it looked like he tweeted it. Boxing legend and Hall of Famer is endorsed, joining biggest fight history.
Very interesting.
So I mean, nothing crazy, going on here where he did it. The CEO claimed to have raised 300 million. Whoa, big number. From the Arise Bank's coin, and updated the figure to 600 million, and promised that he'd be the first $1 billion crypto Dosh offering.
Crypto what now?
Dosh, D-O-S-H. Crypto Dosh. Never heard of a crypto Dosh.
What is that? What does that even mean?
I have no idea, but that's apparently what this man said. Or the reporter didn't proofread their work before they posted it online, whatever the case may be. So apparently what happened is that Rice here, the CEO, took that money, funneled it into his personal bank account, and then used it to support his lifestyle and girlfriend rather than plowing it into his business. So, yeah. So the wheels start to come off the scheme pretty frantically, of course. The Texas banking authorities spotted the promotion and noted that Rice did not have a banking license at all that he claimed. So was never insured by the FIDC?
FDIC.
FDIC.
It looks like he was not registered with the Texas Secretary of
Nope.
State either.
Nope.
So.
Yeah, because he didn't have a banking license at all. So, and if you don't have a banking license, then you can't be insured. So, and they were apparently familiar with an earlier run-in that Rice had admitted to tampering with theft and tampering with government records. Wow. And forging the Texas Secretary of State and Corporation documents. Wow. Okay. Wow. There's a lot of that guy's gonna be put away for a while.
There's a lot to unpack.
He's gonna be put away for a while. Oh, that's not okay. Oh wow. This has illegal all over it. Like trust me, there's things that, people shouldn't do, and it is what it is. You gotta hustle. However, this is you're messing with the government here. Like, if you're gonna do some shady things, do not try your hardest to just stay away from any type of authorities, because wow, the thing is, everything comes to light, and the government don't play. So this guy's gonna be he's gonna be put away for a while. He also failed to disclose certain conversations related to earlier internet company venue during the Arise Bank launched. So he did all this fraudulent stuff before he launched his whole banking thing with a rise and didn't talk about it, which apparently as a company you're supposed to talk if you had any like fraudulent activity or bankruptcies and before when you start up a new company. That's a thing.
Is it?
Technically, yes. You're supposed to like disclose it somewhere, even if it's written and like nobody really sees it.
But disclose. So like just fraud stuff, or like just anything. Like what about parking tickets? Like what? Like
no, like bankruptcy. Well, things that have to do with previous businesses. So he had a previous business that he fraudulently tampered with, and then didn't disclose any of this to his new shareholders about a business.
Interesting.
So if you're a business and you were previously bankrupt, you're supposed to disclose this to your shareholders and the company in general.
I've never been bankrupt, by the way, shareholders, so we don't really have.
Yeah. So of course the bank has been shut down, and the ICO. Well, he already kind of took all the money and kind of like dipped, but well, not really. He's dipping in jail right now. But man, oh man. So that's two people down. Hopefully, so he faces up to 120 years behind bars right now because he's guilty, of course.
I hope he saves some of that money for a lawyer. The greatest part
at the end, it says if found guilty. Come on.
Now here's the thing though. Here's the thing. It has to be if, because we do live in the great country of America, in which you are innocent until proven guilty. I know a lot of people forget that, what with the way the media likes to manipulate things and make people feel like certain people are guilty before even a trial happens or any evidence is actually tested. But they're going to need evidence, and they're going to need a lot of it to prove without a doubt that he did a bad thing.
Oof. It's really hard to disprove money laundering.
Hey, all I'm saying is that, they're going to have to prove that it was this guy. Maybe
somebody wants to know if you're drinking a Four Loko.
I am not drinking a Four Loko. That's an excellent question. I have not had a Four Loko since they changed the formula.
They changed the formula. They changed me secret formula.
When Four Loko first came out, the formula was just it was different, and you would drink like one of them and be like, "Oh, this is nothing. I just drank one. Let me crack the second one." And then like halfway through that second one, you were just like doing cartwheels and like all sorts of other crazy stuff. It was like the crack didn't set it into like the second can.
The crack didn't set it. Oh my god. I don't know. I was too young when Four Lokos came out initially, and
I remember those days. It was crazy. It tasted like medicine. It was really just not great for you.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard they were like horrible.
Not great for you.
So I like never.
Who was that with that fantastic question, by the way?
It was our friend Dow Ambassador. Delo. I feel like there should be a hyphen between the D and the low.
That can only be like one of three people, and then especially if they're asking me about Four Loko. So, sending love back. No, it's not Four Loko. Interestingly enough, that person would have known the story that I just told about cartwheels and jumping over stuff. So there's that part.
Embezzled. So besides embezzlement, what did you see in the news today?
So we got a few things. We're pushing adoption, right? So Overstock.
Yeah, I've been hearing about Overstock. Overstock's been doing its thing.
I don't know exactly what thing you were hearing about, but as of 57 minutes ago, Cointelegraph is reporting that Overstock's Medici Ventures, so the one of the venture capital firms that has stake in Overstock, has also acquired stake in an agricultural blockchain firm.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how I feel about the whole agricultural blockchain thing. You know me, I don't want to tokenize the whole world, just like the parts that make sense. In any event, this is just good for adoption. So Medici Ventures, the blockchain venture arm of Overstock Inc., has purchased $2.5 million in equity from an agricultural blockchain project called Grain Chain. Here's the thing. I'm going to stop right there. Have you ever noticed that the ones that have like a really catchy name are the ones that like stick around? Like Grain Chain is just going to like, that's going to be the agricultural blockchain just based on the name. It's so easy. Grain Chain, like it just sounds so cool.
Maybe.
So That's fun. So apparently it's been around since 2003, which that is crazy.
Really?
That's really crazy when you think about that. That's
Huh.
a freaking long time. Holy crap. I can't. That's a long time. Hold on.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. That's what, 15 years?
That's longer than Bitcoin. That doesn't make any sense. How does that? They must have just recently switched to like being a blockchain. There's no way that they've been a
I don't
blockchain for
know.
that long.
Maybe probably grain. Is there like a subsidiary company that they do or
I don't know.
anything like that?
I do not know. But
Maybe.
Medici Ventures now has a 10% ownership in Grain Chain, so that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
They also have an option to acquire an additional 10% should they, I guess, want to. That's pretty cool. So it looks like they're going to use the money to expand its market share into Central and South America. A lot of fruits and vegetables come from there, so that makes sense. That makes sense. As a vegan, I approve that message.
I approve that message. That's cool. Speaking of banks, have you heard of Silvergate?
Silvergate
Yes,
sounds
Silvergate
like
Capital. It's out
sounds
of
like a
California.
scandal.
No, they're actually a real company in California. They're the parents of Silvergate.
Just because anything that ends in gate is like a scandal, you know.
Oh my god.
Ever since Watergate.
Watergate. Anyways, they're a company out of California, Silvergate Capital. They're the parent company of Silvergate Bank, and they recently filed for a $50 million public offering for cryptocurrency. Whoa.
$50 million, 50 million tokens, 50 million.
50 million in an initial public offering for the Securities Commission, and they are going to raise it for, let's see, they're going to be listed in the New York Stock Exchange, and they are going to have a crypto portion to their bank.
Oh, so another crypto bank?
Right.
Didn't we learn from the
They're
last
opening they're opening its arms to cryptocurrency exchanges and companies who are often stunned by the mainstream institutions who fear money laundering and baggage and seem to follow Bitcoin and the regulatory uncertainties associated with servicing crypto firms. So it looks like they're going to be some kind of a custodian maybe.
That's cool.
And they're launching an IPO to raise funds based off what I'm looking at here. That's
what so they're doing an IPO.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
they're
cool.
doing an IPO. Yeah, so they're going to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange.
That's cool.
Kind of want to look for that soon whenever it gets listed, low key, just a little bit, because that's
So here's another. Since we're talking about banks, real quick, I keep seeing people having trouble buying coins or like Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, like on Coinbase.
Mm-hmm.
And like you guys know, I've never had that problem, like literally ever. Like when we were talking about like thousands of dollars, just willy nilly, Ethereum within like 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like I just never have problems.
Right.
I did more research on it, and it's because my bank goes through BBVA Compass. They just don't care. Like they just will let you. Oh, you want to spend your money because it's yours? Go right for it.
Right.
So if anyone's looking for another bank, simple.com. It's my online bank. Never once had a problem. I've been telling people all day about it because like in the XYO group, like people are just like, oh, my funds are tied up. I can't use debit, blah, blah, blah. My bank keeps denying it.
Yeah.
With a
I think
bank
Wells
transfer
Fargo
or
finally let Coinbase do transfers.
someone was telling me that they did use Wells Fargo recently and they had no problems whatsoever.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Same thing with I think Jerome. He had used it recently. They finally like.
All I'm saying is if you're watching, you're still looking for a bank. I personally use Simple Bank, and not one time have I ever had a problem. Plus, their customer service is a top notch.
Top notch. Cool.
Top
cool.
notch.
I like top notch customer service. That's.
You can
pretty,
chat right in the app. Like it's so much fun.
Oh, nice.
I don't even have to go anywhere.
Nice.
I could just be like, hey guys, I'm bored. No, but seriously, like in the app, like there's a support section, and you could either call, send them an email, or just do like the live chat right in the app. It's not like a live chat, like they get back to you when they get back to you, but
Right.
it keeps everything in a nice thread. It's super easy, so that's fun.
Cool.
Just a nice little bank there if you guys need one.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. I know there's another online bank, Aspirations. They work fairly well as well. I've heard of Synchrony Bank working not too shabby. It's most of the mainstream banks are going to have an issue with when you're trying to buy cryptocurrencies, especially off Coinbase or whatever the case is. Because the mainstream banks are the ones that obviously don't want anything to do with these, companies. So
with the exception of a lot of them, because Bank of America, remember,
recently
they're
Bank of
geared
America.
up, getting ready to fully partner with Ripple, start using XRP for XRapid.
Yeah, I
That
saw.
was in the news. We might talk about that. I always have my charts up for the ZERPs, as I call them. We've been just trucking sideways, which I'm okay with.
Trucking sideways.
I'm okay with that. We're just going sideways. There's not really a whole lot going on there. And, one of these days, I'm just going to wake up and just be a millionaire and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, everything's going to be fine when you be a millionaire.
Yeah,
so what else we got on our
going
plate
to Costa
here?
Rica.
On our crypto news. What else did you see in the news today?
Some other stuff besides Overstock. The exchange Arasex, the one that like all the big NASDAQ and all them are like interested in. Apparently, more recent news about money that they raised. So they raised $27.5 million from Fidelity and NASDAQ.
All right. I like that.
So that's pretty cool. I know the NASDAQ also plans on doing Bitcoin futures because the New York Stock Exchange, obviously through ICE, is going to launch Backed exchange. And so the NASDAQ is thinking about getting in there as well. And obviously, Fidelity is doing the custodial services and whatnot.
Right.
So Arasex is another kind of exchange, if you will. And so it's a Chicago-based firm, kind of like the CBOE, the Chicago Board of whatever exchanges. That's the CBOE is where the first Bitcoin futures were listed, and that's supposedly what made the price like super increase last year. So once we get more institutions doing it, I'm thinking that we're gonna skyrocket again. So we might have to wait till early January or late January or sometime in January to see a lot of this actually take off. But adoption, it's one of my favorite words. I like when more people are using crypto. In this instance, it's not really people, it's institutions, but that's even better than retail investors, honestly.
Right. I mean, you're going to want your institutions to jump on first just because people follow leaders.
Yes and no. You want to be there before the institution.
Of course.
Anyone who's there now, just hodl, you'll be fine. And then when the institutions jump on board.
So I'm talking more for the people who are not into crypto whatsoever and don't trust it.
Right.
Once they see these institutions kind of jump on, they'll be like, no way. And then they'll jump on.
Right, because it seems safer.
Right. So that's people like leaders. You have your early adopters. You got your, people who are coming in. You got your mid people, and then you got your late adopters. The people who are going to follow leaders are going to be late adopters, of course. And they're going to come, not reaping as much benefits as everyone else. But at least, I guess they'll get maybe a taste, if they're savvy about it.
They're not savvy, or else they'd already be here.
Well, sometimes you got your doubts, which is essentially the issue, because it's with all the media manipulation, that's what throws it off the most. Because even like with fraudulent banks and ICOs and all that, if you are very good at social media, you will get results. So if you are very good at spreading FUD, you will get results. You will get people not looking towards something.
Now, speaking of the media, I have tied something together recently. This has been like a known thing, right? But then I recently realized like why crypto has such a bad rap. So all the media companies in the United States are actually only 6 different companies. In the grand scheme of things, it's like Disney, because they own ABC and whatever else. Then there's CBS,
CNBC, all those.
Right, but there's really only 6 of them, all in. And they all are a part of the AP, or the Associated Press, which can be tied back to Reuters, which can be tied back to the Rothschilds. If you're not familiar with the Rothschilds, I'll break it down real quick. Have you ever seen Money before?
Yes.
The Rothschilds made that.
Okay.
Right. On any money that you've ever seen anywhere is from the Rothschilds, unless you've seen like Cuban money somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a part of that, right? But the Rothschilds is a really wealthy banking family. They've been wealthy for the longest time. We're talking about like 15, 16, 1700s, like super, super long ago. They like invented all the money, right? And so anywhere that there is a central bank or Federal Reserve or a fractional reserve banking system,
Mm-hmm.
the Rothschilds either own all of it or a part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so since they're right now, they're the ones that are making the money, but they didn't make Bitcoin, they didn't make Ethereum, they didn't make any of these other cryptocurrencies that are actually being used as currencies. There's a control issue, right?
Right.
So if I own the media and I own the money, I'm going to use the money, or rather, I'm going to use the media
Right.
to try to regain control of the money. No, this is a scam. Just stay in fiat. Everything is fine. But fiat don't make no sense. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense. The way that we borrow money makes no sense. And that's why things like Bitcoin being decentralized are wonderful, with the exception of like proof of work kind of being easy to control if you have 51% of the hash power.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, like I feel like there's like this blackout, and especially like in the media about currencies that actually really are on the cusp of like actually changing things, like XRP. Do you hear about XRP a lot in the media?
A little more recently than I used to, here and there, just because
I see them on like crypto sites, but like in the media, like I don't really hear about Ripple and XRP.
No, of course not. You're gonna hear about Bitcoin, you're gonna hear about cryptocurrency in general, but you're never gonna hear about the smaller ones.
The smaller ones, Ripple is number 2 by market cap.
Right, not by word of mouth though.
But that's also not true though. Have you seen the XRP community on Twitter? It's crazy.
So it's huge, but it's not something that people go, oh, well, I heard about XRP on CNN. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, though,
Right.
is because there's a media blackout when it comes to XRP. That's a good thing for me. I don't care what nobody says. I fully believe that that's a good thing. I think the media is really trying to control our lives. And so if you can kind of see past that, obviously, everyone knows, I believe XRP is a fantastic investment.
Mm-hmm.
This is not financial advice. I'm not your father or your financial investor. Do your own research. I think for me and my family, that XRP is a fantastic investment. And it's just really weird that you don't hear about the number 2 currency in the news like ever. But it's not weird when you think about how the Rothschilds don't really have any control over that. And they want to control all the banking, because they do. They're the reasons why there's wars in the world. I can prove that. That'll be a whole nother video for a whole nother day. I can prove they're the reason that there's wars that exist in the world. Anytime the U.S. has gone to war, it's not been to instill democracy. It's been to instill a fractional reserve banking system wherever we end up warring it out. So
Interesting. I've heard of that. That's not the first time I've heard.
That's why we popped Gaddafi.
I'm not surprised.
That's why we popped Gaddafi.
Well,
he was trying to fund Africa. Can't do that. Can't fund Africa. Can't make Africa, a self-sufficient continent. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to give them their own currency made of gold? Literally made of gold. Backed by itself because it literally was gold. So we had to get him. Speaking entirely sarcastically there, we sure should not have gotten him. Should have let him just do what he was doing. But I think that some of your Satoshi Nakamotos of the world are kind of doing the whole Gaddafi thing, where they're inventing a currency and allowing people to just use it as they see fit, building a really easy to use network around it. And that's probably one of the reasons why Satoshi to this day wanted to be anonymous and is still anonymous. So just my thoughts on the money around the world. So let's see here. We were talking about ErisX. I'm not specifically excited for ErisX, the exchange. It's just exciting that institutions are coming in and buying parts of these companies. So another thing, I was reading this. It came out just a few hours ago, if that. Crypto whales who haven't sold yet have nearly doubled their Ethereum holdings this year. So for anybody watching that doesn't know what a whale is, I am not a whale. I don't nearly hold enough coins of any particular crypto to be considered a whale, but it's just somebody who has a lot of coins where, like, if they placed a sell order, the market would notice and would have a reaction to that. So apparently they have nearly doubled their Ethereum holdings, meaning that a lot of the people that have big money in crypto have put even more big money into Ethereum. So it says that the whale active addresses holding Ethereum has increased 4x since 2017, from just over 5 million or somewhere between 5 to 10 million all the way up to 25 million. So that's a lot. That is a lot. So it says here, dun dun dun. So ICOs, bad performers, obviously. Massive growth in Ether holdings, most likely the result of traders exiting the trading of tokens. So they probably went from whatever ICO that they purchased into back into Ethereum, which would make sense. I mean, Ethereum is obviously it's the currency of the ETH network. Okay, yeah, so it looks like they have consolidated their ERC20 tokens and begin to cut their losses back into Ethereum. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it also says the increase in holdings has not correlated with an expansion of the number of addresses that qualify as whales.
Right.
So it's still the same whales. They're just buying a ton more of Ethereum, which is pretty good. That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. At least they haven't sold their ETH back to fiat. So are you looking at the shenanigans that are occurring over there? It's very, very loving touches that Pitbull is getting right now. Very, very loving.
Yeah, he was in trouble earlier. He ate my shoe, my caterpillar ear, and he was in timeout.
The new caterpillar you just bought?
Yeah. His ear's missing. I was very sad.
I have a sewing kit.
It's not the same. Anyways.
Return it and be like, I don't know what happened.
Oh my God, no.
This is crazy.
No,
you sold me a faulty caterpillar.
Oh God. Anyways, so
oh man.
Speaking of bills, dollar bills, y'all. So it makes it easier to do.
I'm just a bill.
What?
On Capitol Hill.
Oh God. Okay.
Schoolhouse Rock? No.
No. Anyways, so Wyoming.
Lolly. Get your adverbs here. No.
I'm from 1996 in a Hispanic family. Let me tell you something.
But like, what was your childhood like? If you don't know that I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill.
My childhood consisted of telenovelas and Noticiero Univision. But anyways, so Wyoming passed a bill making it easier for. I feel like you're judging me right now, but I'm going to continue with the news. So Wyoming passes a bill that supports blockchain banking. Whoa.
What does that mean?
Whoa. So I mean, every state is different in terms of how they do their banking and how they let their banks, do monetary value and whatever. Because every state's different. Like, New York has their own rules when it comes to doing this, that, and the third. Hawaii has their own rules where this, that, and the third can happen, but maybe this exchange can participate, maybe not that exchange can participate. So Wyoming is one of those states where you do have to get pre-authorization to do a lot of monetary funding and passing values. So what I'm assuming is that in Wyoming, chances are they didn't really have a lot of companies doing blockchain. They probably didn't really have anything particularly put in place regarding blockchain. So what I'm assuming is now they're addressing it.
Does Wyoming have anything put in place for anything? I don't know anything about Wyoming. What do they do out there?
Cheese.
Is that where cheese comes from?
No, it's from Wisconsin.
Okay, so then what does Wyoming do? Like, what are they known for? Is that the state that looks like a face?
I think they're the breadbasket of America. That and like the other one that are next to it. I'm almost positive.
What does that mean?
That's where all the grains come from.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's where the amber waves of grain are from the song.
Maybe. Possibly. Yeah. I feel like they're the breadbasket or something like that. Anyways, so in November 30th, they passed this bill, just making, I guess, putting guidelines and implementing what's to come, of course, because Congress hasn't done much. So I feel like states at this point are individually
drunk crypto
putting their best foot forward to, I guess, establish guidelines for cryptocurrency banking and blockchain, anything really, just to prevent fraud. Most likely.
I've got some guidelines. Buy a Ledger Nano S now, on sale today. That's how you should handle your crypto banking. Worried about all this regulation and stuff. I regulate myself.
That's true. I mean, what it's doing mostly, it's allowing to integrate blockchain technology with traditional banking, really.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily like, hey, like store your money at Bank of America. It's just like, well, maybe one day, but it's more like, hey, you guys can use XRP for your banking system. I guess you could say, like integrating blockchain into traditional banking.
But that wouldn't be something that could be regulated at a state level, though. Banking's like a federal thing.
So banks have to be,
especially not XRP.
backed.
Like they're built into that's a payment rail that's built into other software.
So I mean that, and possibly banks that are looking for patents for themselves could be another route that this bill is probably seeking to address.
Is there like a name for the bill?
It is
like
called
a joint resolution or like a something. Can I look that up somewhere?
Special Purpose Depository Banks in the U.S. That's the purpose of this bill. It's for special purpose depository banks in the U.S.
We got something here on Bitcoin Magazine.
Bill. Yeah, it's operating in the Wyoming division of banking.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the official document from the state of Wyoming. So it's going to be a House bill, yet there's not a bill number. I think this is just a proposition because what I'm looking at is a working draft. Let me go ahead and pull that back up for y'all's. So we got this working draft from, I guess, the House.
So it says the state legislators passed it. So I'm assuming it passed House level, and maybe it's going to maybe Senate now because the legislators passed it.
See here, an act relating to banking, making legislative findings, creating special purpose depository banks as a new financial institution, providing that special purpose depository banks shall be corporations.
Yeah, it was voted 13-1. So
depositors are required to be business entities. That's interesting.
So supposedly the bill is also meant to emphasize Wyoming's partnership with technology and financial industry and safely grow. So like I said, probably, putting some regulation on it before you end up having everyone in Wyoming going crazy. I mean, nothing happens in Wyoming.
They have internet out there?
Stop. Leave those people alone. I speak to very nice people in Wyoming.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, because you're like on the phone and stuff.
Yeah, right. Nice people out there.
Do they even need like any insurance or anything? Like, what could you even catch in Wyoming?
I mean, you still have like arthritis and osteoporosis, and I'm sure it gets cold. It's pretty up north. It's up there. So, I mean, maybe mad cow disease.
That's for cows.
People
can't catch that.
I'm sure if you eat the cow, you'll get sick from it.
It's a mad person disease then.
Well, it came from the cow originally. But anyways.
I'm mad you mentioned cows. I'm glad you know that's all they have out there. Cows and grain.
Cows and grain, probably. Maybe I'll go one day. Anyways, so there has been 5 blockchain-friendly bills so far in the 2018. This one making 6. No, I'm sorry, with 6 more committee bills that have been elevated in chance of becoming the law. So that's pretty, that's interesting. I'm still waiting on Florida to do something. I'm out here. We're out here. It looks like New York has been doing a thing. West Virginia has been doing a thing. Ohio has been doing a thing. I feel like I've heard some stuff from California, but I'm not 100% sure. I know they let their politician accept cryptocurrencies as a form of payment.
Oh, gee, thanks, California, for allowing me to accept payment as a form of payment. Like, what do you...
I don't know.
So
I don't
stupid.
know.
Thanks for letting me do something I was going to do regardless.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't make the rules, but yeah, I feel like more states definitely need to be integrated because at a Congress level, and multiple times from the SEC have we seen that the commissioners actually want to push for this. Heather, I think her name is Mama Crypto. Are you familiar with her?
Oh, from the SEC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So she pushes for it.
She's the reason why they're looking into like 8 different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Especially
Right.
the ETFs, I believe.
ETFs.
ETFs. I got it. Okay. So.
Exchange traded funds.
Yes. So. She pushed for it. I know Giancarlo, he was one of the chairs as well. He was pushing for it. And there was a new guy they added recently. I don't recall his name off the top of my head. But he was also saying that, everything needs a fair chance, this on the third, whatever. Because of Congress having more of an involvement with the SEC, it's a lot harder for them to have anything blockchain approved. At this time, because Congress needs to approve it first. So they can't have a governmental blockchain or a governmental this. Like you see other countries that are launching ICOs and nationwide this, nationwide banking, and that's cool. But until Congress doesn't get on board, it's really, really, really hard to have anything federally done. It's kind of like the states in medical marijuana. Each state has kind of like its own rule about it. Versus federally, it's still, not a thing. So federally, we don't really have any specific guidelines minus, money laundering and your basic this, that, and the third and KYC and blah, blah, blah. Outside of that, I feel like this is why now states are trying to implement their own rules to have more of a control over what's going on and trying to prevent fraud because, we see it all the time. We saw that bank in Texas. We saw the one that DJ Khaled and Mayweather endorsed. It's common. It's gonna happen. So you got to be careful. And I feel like this is why states are now individually stepping in because federally we're behind compared to other countries.
Oh, is this gonna be kind of like marijuana, where like it's federally?
That's what I'm thinking.
It's federally illegal.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I said that because on a state level they're doing things. That's.
I never thought about it that way. Yeah. For me, it always just kind of felt like, oh, but it's money though. Like we gotta just kind of, we gotta let the Fed decide what they're trying to, what their situation's gonna be.
I don't know. All I know is that as a country, technically we are behind. I want to say we're like dead last because there are other countries that don't even like India don't use cryptocurrency in India. You're basically banned.
It's bad. Like, so they banned all the different exchanges and all the banks, and then somebody was like, "Oh, well, we're just gonna do Bitcoin ATMs," and then they started pulling those too.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean,
shameful.
we're not as behind as every country, of course, but we're definitely behind a lot of them. And as the leading country, I don't think that looks very good.
No, not at all.
So
we need to start regulating some of these Bitcoin ATMs over here. Have you seen like the cost on some of these?
Oh my god.
Oh, you want to buy Bitcoin right now? Okay, no big deal. It's like $5,000. Like,
meanwhile, the price is like $3,000. I'm like, no. Like they're literally like they're robbing these.
Oh, you want to sell it? $2,000. Like, what are you doing? Why is it so much and then so
I don't even
little?
like who goes to those. How are those even operational?
You don't know. You don't understand. It's crazy. I see people go to them all the time. The one in the gas station right here, because I go to the gas station a lot. This gas station right here where that ATM is, where like I leave our business card on all the time, and you're not gonna stop me. They've called like 3 times and asked me to stop leaving the business card there, but I won't do it. I'm not gonna do it. Bitstop, I hope you're watching.
Wasn't there this guy one time who looked at you and recognized you?
There sure was. That was hilarious. All right, story time, you guys. I'm walking into my gas station, minding my business. You know, go to the counter to get my stuff, and I see that they're there with not Brinks. Who's the other people? Dunbar. They're there with Dunbar, the money people, to pull out whatever money they had from the Bitcoin ATM. And as I walk in, because I went in through like the back door where like the actual Bitcoin ATM is, and so as I walk in, the guy's like at the machine, looks back because like he hears me like walk in, just safety, whatever. Looks back at the machine and then like looks back again.
I guess he watches the videos.
And so I go,
oh, no.
because that's the guy that called me the one time, because he's the one that goes out and services the machines. Obviously, like he would know that I left the card there, right? So like,
I hope he learned something.
So,
I hope you're watching, guys.
On the way out, he's like just an ice grill, just like looking at me like, I feel like I know you.
I feel like I've seen you before.
So, hey man, I'm just over here trying to, get some subs, show people, educate people. I'm not trying to cause no harm. When the first time he called me about it, he was like, "Oh, you have to stop taping your business card to the thing." And I was like, "Taping? I have money for tape?" I'm just leaving it right in the corner. Like, you don't even have to move the business card to be able to interact with the screen. It's a touch screen, right? So like, it just sits there right in the corner, and then people are just like, "Oh, cool, I'll take this," and I'll maybe Google it or something. It's no big deal.
Taping.
Oh, you have to stop taping it. Sir, I would never do that. It's not my property, but I would leave a business card there. Just like if you've ever gone into like a grocery store and come out and there's been a flyer on your car, you don't get mad and like call the number like, "How dare you leave this flyer?" If you don't want it, throw it away.
I'm sure people have done that. I'm sure people have done that.
Are you touching my property? Well, no. Just your windshield wiper slipped a little flyer underneath. Yeah. Not a big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. I don't know. It was last time I went to a Bitcoin ATM, somebody stuck a gummy bear to it, and I was eating a pretzel, and it flew on my pretzel. I was very sad. Very sad. I know, right? Like, whose children?
No, I'm not even worried about that. So what I want to know, right, is, okay, so you walk up to this Bitcoin ATM.
Right.
And then there's a gummy bear that's stuck to the screen?
Yes, I was taking it off. I took, like, a business card.
Okay, so you were taking it off. And that's where you messed up?
Right.
Because you could have just used the other corner. Just left the card there and just
I used both corners. Well, there was, like, 4 gummy bears stuck to the screen on each corner. Like, it was crazy. I've never seen such a thing. I don't know what wild children.
That wasn't someone's child. That was somebody who lost a lot of money on Bitcoin, and they were upset.
Maybe
so
that's actually kind of funny.
So they stuck a. That's hilarious. Oh no.
That is kind of funny. Oh man. Well,
that's great.
Whoever it was, I lost a pretzel that day, but it's okay.
Was it from Auntie Annie's?
It was. It was my favorite. I like their jalapeno pretzels. I love those things.
Jalapeno.
What?
Jalapeno?
Okay, you're one of those. Okay, gotcha. Anyways, so anything else interesting you've seen in the news lately?
We're getting
Back
there.
To you.
We're getting there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up now if I can
go
get
ahead,
the right
scene. Pull that bad boy up.
And not scene 3. I don't know what that is.
Oh, there we are.
There we go. So this is from CoinDesk.
Mm-hmm.
The title of this story is "Crypto Winter is Here, and we only have ourselves to blame."
Oh.
I honestly didn't read it, but like, I don't
bitter.
take kindly to anybody blaming me for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see what they were talking about.
Oh, you broke it. What'd you do?
There we go.
It is.
So, oh god, it looks like a story that's like about a story. Oh god.
A story about a story. I don't like those.
I'm just gonna speed through this and try to see if I can find.
What is that?
Something.
What is that?
That's the capitulation stage.
I see.
I thought this was gonna be a way better. Okay, so apparently, in my speed reading, it's a story about people boasting about all the money they made, and then people came in and thought they were gonna make the same money, and we haven't made that same money, and so we're down. Bitcoin down roughly 75%. ETH is down roughly 90%. Nouriel Rubini is a stupid man. Crypto winter is here. technologies, cons, along with its pros. So basically, this story was about nothing. Really sorry for wasting everyone's time there. Basically, just tells us everything that we already knew, that people a lot of times got into crypto because they thought that it was like a one-stop shop for just getting rich, and all you had to do was just throw money at a wall and it was gonna stick, which was not the case. I think it was just when was it that we like got like reinvested it, because we were like obviously playing different coins here and there, but it was like September, October, like the end of September, like beginning of October, that we like really got back in, like hard with crypto. Like we put a bunch of money back in. So
I wish I put it in like last week when everything was like at 3,000.
Right. I think it was like $6,000 when we got back in.
Yeah, well, it was going up to 6. It was like 5 and change,
okay.
And then it went up to 6. So there was some gains there, and then of course.
I don't feel bad about my choices. I feel like I picked a great time to get back in. A lot of people are saying Bitcoin's probably going to go down to like 1.8K.
Ooh, that's low.
That would be bleak times. But regardless, though, as long as it doesn't go to 0, which is literally impossible, I'm okay with it. Hold on here just a beat. I want to just check.
Fun fact, did you know that during a poll that CNN did, 29% of freelancers prefer to be paid in crypto?
Really?
Yeah.
That's like almost a third.
That is a third.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
I prefer to be paid in crypto. XRP, baby. I love being paid in crypto. It makes me so happy because then I don't have to take my money and then convert it to the crypto I was gonna buy anyway.
True story.
I don't know if you've ever seen me like receive money at like any time. Crypto, right away. Grandma sends me money for like Easter or whatever. She's so nice.
Crypto,
wow, that thing.
Someone sent me money for Easter.
You know, my grandma's real nice. I think what it is she has this case of like greeting cards or whatever from Hallmark, and then she'll just pull out, okay, this one's Easter, Timothy, blah blah blah, stamp, mail it. Like she just, it's so
that
easy.
Is so
It's the best.
Aww.
My great uncle, same thing. He's got like a case of just. I remember one time he was like, "Oh, go get me a birthday card," and I was like, "What? You just have birthday cards like just lying around?" He was like, "Yeah, it's such and such birthday. Go in the case. Just look in the birthday section." I was like, "What? There's other sections," and it was like Easter. Christmas, this, that, like all the different holidays or whatever, 4th of July, just random holidays, just all a bunch of different cards. I guess it comes with like some already, and then you can just fill them out and just send them. And you just buy more to replace the ones that you sent.
Wow, I have to like write down things to do when I'm old.
That's one of them. That's one of them.
Of boxes of Hallmark. If Hallmark's even around when
I'm sure they will be.
I don't know. Well, I mean, old people keep them alive. You're right.
Hallmark is like the Band-Aid of greeting cards, right?
That is, well, I want to say, I don't know if the individual stores will be around because they have their baby stores. Every time I walk by them,
as far as those stores, here's the thing about them. They're very scary. Whenever I'm in a mall, I usually have a child with me, and I would not bring him to a Hallmark store.
Why are they scary?
There's too many trinkets. I don't know if you've noticed when I'm not absolutely graceful. I have 2 levels, right? Absolutely graceful and ridiculously clumsy, right? There's not really any middle ground. And like I always have a book bag on whenever I go out, and so like I'm the type to just like swing around and just break the entire Hallmark store. Like I am the bull in the china shop. So
good point. So you're just clumsy. Don't go to Hallmark.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
So I've actually never been to a Hallmark store. I've always seen them, but they're kind of cute. They look like really, like their stuff.
I bought someone. It was a friend of mine. It was a girl. It was her birthday, and we recently went to the mall like a few days before. We went to the Hallmark store for some reason. She was like, "Oh my God, I like this trinket, whatever the stupid thing was." And then like I was just like, "Oh, okay, cool." Taking notes. Your birthday's in a few days, so I went back and I bought it, and like that was the last time I ever bought something from there. So like I haven't really been back inside one since then. They scare me.
I see. Understandable. Anywho, so
any comments we should address in the
possibly I want to throw out there that
because I got
there's
one more story.
There's about 500 startups that are banking at Silvergate. That's just a fun fact from earlier.
Really?
Yes. They are very crypto friendly, which is why they're starting up this IPO.
Maybe we should bank with them.
Maybe we should.
I forget the name of our bank.
Wow. Well, maybe it's not a very good option.
Who
if you
do
don't know the
we
name of your
bank with? What is this?
Wow.
Aslo.
Aslo. We bank
They
with
were one of the
Aslo.
only ones that would accept us. No one else. When I explained like what we do, they were just like, "But crypto though."
I'm sure. Anyways,
There's no payments in crypto. Okay, it's fiat, and I want to give you guys fiat. Yeah, but there's blockchain in the name. Okay, what? It's 2 words: block and the chain.
block and the chain.
I don't understand what the problem is.
Okay, so looking at our comments here, since the last time we commented, we got a little LOL from Max. From Crypto EE, they should have just bought XYO. It's probably from something we said earlier.
I believe it's because the markets were down.
Possibly.
That's a good point. There's some people that purchased XYO with the assistance of the video that I made for it. Those people are doing a pretty nice right now, if I may say so.
Oh, are they? That's cool.
When I made the video until now, it's up easily like 150%.
Yeah. I think, what was it, 45% when we were looking at it earlier?
So the last live stream, when we were looking at it at 45%, it did get to 121% that night. It went back down and settled around like the 60 to 70% range, but like it went like wild. So
wow.
We all figured out in the XYO group chat that we're pretty sure it's because of the FedEx news, because that was pretty big news or whatever.
Right.
I'm still like kind of skeptical about that news because it's not a partnership. It's like an incubator program partnership. So
Gotcha.
FedEx may use them, but it looks good. Anyways, what else we got going on there?
Max says, ETH looks cheap here to me. Very surprised that all the XRP YouTubers had no idea XRP had such a following. Yes, XRP has a huge following.
It's ridiculous.
Very big.
That's why I don't do videos to shill XRP, because like anytime I want to be the first person to make news about it, I'm like the third person.
Right.
It's
no, XRP is pretty popping.
It's such a big community.
I personally ran into people who I've said, "Oh yeah, you know about crypto?" Like, yeah. And I was, I'll automatically default to Bitcoin. I'll be like, "Oh," and then when I ask them what they invest in, they're like, "Oh, I don't invest in Bitcoin. I have XRP." Some of them will say Ethereum, but most of the time they'll say XRP. And
that
I'm
one
like,
guy said Doge. One guy said Doge.
Oh no.
Man.
It's okay. They'll learn.
If that ain't a speculative investment based on absolutely no fundamentals whatsoever, I literally don't know what is. That's like if you put Trunks' face on a coin. The Pitbull we were referring to earlier.
Bitcoin. We should start a Bitcoin. That would be cool. In competition with Doge. What? That's pretty
Our only
cool.
marketing should just be talking crap about Dogecoin. That should be our only marketing. That would be so funny.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. The SEC is going to hate us. They're going to be like, no, it's fraud. No.
This is fraud. No. Oh, Jesus.
It's not. We really love pits.
So
that should be sick. We could make we should think about it. We could make Bitcoin and then like donate like a ton of the proceeds to like helping Pitbulls and like
cool.
making a bunch of like no kill shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Cool.
Whoa.
The pitties, guys.
All right, end the stream. Let's not. No one pay attention to what we just said. Don't steal our idea.
So we also have Max again. I don't have anything against XRP. Wow. I just prefer XLM. Sorry, I'll shut up. Well, you don't have to shut up, Max. We like your comments. We like to
I want to know why.
Conversate.
That's not a word.
51%
we like to
attack
converse.
Doge.
Let's do it.
51% attack. Oh man.
So I want to know why XLM versus XRP, because Jed McCaleb is a salty boy. He gets paid a certain number of XRP monthly and then is allowed to dump a certain percentage of it based on like overall market volume, and he wastes no time in dumping it and trying to bring the price of XRP down. That's a thing he likes to do. I heard there might be a partnership in the future at some point between Ripple and Stellar. I don't know exactly what the situation is there, but XLM. So Jed McCaleb or Jeb or whatever his name is, I think it's Jed. He was one of the founders, one of the people who like invented XRP like way back in the day, and so like now he is split to his own thing, XLM, and I just don't see a use case that XLM can fill that XRP can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious to see what the.
So Max thinks that a lot of the stories behind Jed are FUD.
Save it, bud. I know his wallet address. I watch it. He's a dumper. He likes to dump.
Does he? Well, I don't know. I personally haven't seen it, but there was I'm assuming that if you have a company that let's say you started a product,
Mm-hmm.
you had a messy breakup, which is apparently what happened.
Very messy.
You're gonna do anything to manipulate the other person. So I mean, that kind of makes sense as to why he would do that.
Mm-hmm.
So he does agree to his dumping.
Okay. All right. So that you're smart guy, because I was gonna pull up the receipts. You know I keep receipts.
So he does say that he's the genius behind both. Yes. But of course, because there was such a messy breakup, then you're not gonna sabotage the guy who screwed you over.
Especially when there's no regulation stopping you from doing that.
Right.
So it's almost too easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, which is actually surprisingly hard.
Yeah, he said Max thinks he's probably using it to pump XLM.
That's exactly right. So what happens is when he does those dumps, he's selling XRP and then buying XLM with the XRP that he sold, that's the reason why for like the longest time XLM was almost exactly half of XRP. Like
I remember
in value.
it did when it had first got listed.
Like the charts just looked
like
exactly the same for so long, and it made no sense to me until I did the research and I started looking into it, and it was like, oh, you little sneaky. That's kind of like what they were doing with Bitcoin Cash when Bitcoin Cash first came out, when they were like pegging it at 10% of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to see that type of stuff. I feel like if you have a fantastic product, which IBM thinks is a fantastic product, they've partnered with XLM. You know what I mean? Like if you have a fantastic product, you don't have to anti-shill. I don't know what the word would be. You don't have to be like a naysayer of anyone else's thing.
Right.
Like I don't talk bad about anybody else's YouTube channel or website or anything like that while we're on here. Like I just talk about our stuff because I think we're great.
Except for KuCoin.
So KuCoin is an exchange, and KuCoin. Hate them. I hate them.
Get out of here, KuCoin.
Get out of here, KuCoin. Oh man.
Anyways.
Back to what were we? It's hot in here now. What were we saying? What's going on in the chat? Let's finish up there because I got one more story.
So it looks like XLM has a partnership with IBM. Yep, just said that. And then for World Wirestream and its more bottom-up approach, they can coexist. So yes, they can coexist.
They sure can.
Surely and purely because of competition. Monopoly is fun just for that one guy, not for everyone. So there's definitely I see there you always want to have competition because that's just gonna. It's healthy. It's healthy to have competition. It's never good to just be the one company that does everything and just owns this one thing. Kind of like we've seen Swift. Everybody's just content with Swift, but it's...
Well, they don't really have that many other choices right now.
Right, so...
If you need a payment messaging service, it's basically, right now, it's Swift, or you can externally use RippleNet until it starts getting built into like Tenemos and all sorts of other stuff.
Right. But Ripple's relatively new to the game. Beforehand, it's Swift or you better send your money in the mail. So or Western Union.
The crazy thing is, it is actually faster to send your money in the mail compared to the financial industry. Like with their remittance systems right now, it literally is faster to just like drive your money across the border. So apparently.
But yeah, for that reason, of course, it's perfectly fine for them to coexist. It's perfectly fine for them to be a healthy competition just because that would just point blank period make sense.
They're doing different things, though. They're doing different things. Like Stellar is trying to be like banking for the unbanked, which is dope. But that doesn't mean that each XLM needs to be a certain value, right? It could just be whatever it is and you just trade it from there. Whereas XRP as a token or as a coin needs to be a specific value in order for the banks to actually have sufficient liquidity. That's estimated to be, it has to be upwards of $20, but anywhere from the 100 range on is going to work out for banks. And then as more banks use it, it would have to increase in value to to offer the same level of liquidity. Because if there's only 100 billion tokens and each of them is worth, let's say, $1, That's only $100 billion if you buy every single
If you
token
buy
at
it,
one
right,
time.
right.
But $100 billion transaction is really not. It's a lot, but like to the banking
banks,
industry
right,
like
it's
that.
not.
Oh, 100 billion here. Hold on. Like that's what. You know what I mean? So like for banks, in order to find like the sufficient liquidity, like Ripple is gonna kind of have to do some like behind the scenes pumping.
Right.
So that's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that black swan event. I'll diversify.
Black Swan.
I'll diversify into other stuff once once I'm a cryptillionaire.
Cryptillionaire. Cool. Wow, you'll be with Chameleonaire. Anyways, to our next story, guys.
So this was sent over by our research team. Binance is going to launch its own blockchain called Binance Chain.
Yes, I heard of that. How could I forget about
Now
that?
they already have BNB, which is the Binance coin.
Right.
I don't know what their own blockchain is, so we're gonna learn together. So the world's largest crypto exchange by trading volumes will launch its own blockchain, the Binance Chain, in the coming months, as the company revealed in a tweet December 4th, which is today for the next 30 minutes on the East Coast. So the Binance-backed blockchain aims to provide a basis for creating new cryptocurrencies and initial coin offerings. Okay. That's cool to be able to launch your ICO right through Binance, and then does that mean that it would automatically be listed? I wonder. Because that would be a thing.
I feel like that would also, because I'm sure Binance would thoroughly check these companies' information before they.
Well, they do that now before listing.
Right. But if now they're just saying, "Hey, hold your ICO through us," chances of an ICO being faulty.
That's true. Adds a little bit of trust to the ICO process.
Right. That would definitely deplete. So.
Because Changpeng, you guys might call him CZ, Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance. What's happening right now? So Changpeng, great guy, is all about security.
Right.
They were just doing something that kind of scared some people the other day. Like they were moving around funds from like one cold wallet to the next one, and then Changpeng had to like chime in on Twitter like, okay guys, like we're always increasing our security. It's not a hack. There's nothing funny happening. This is us. We're moving stuff around to make sure that everything is safe. So they're always talking about security. And increasing it and making sure that they will never be hacked, which to this date I can't recall a Binance hack, so to speak. Binance has been used to launder funds, I guess, when other cryptocurrencies have been hacked. So then they started doing that. They partnered with some blockchain auditing company to make sure that there's like not any like fraudulent activity as far as like laundering money is concerned. So they're always on like the cusp of like better security. So I would imagine that, like you're saying, it's gonna just enhance.
They'll probably like make a department for that and like have people like thoroughly,
for sure,
read through everything and like make sure that they have a license. All right, let's verify that license. So yeah. So no more messing with the Texas Banking Commission or whatever, that Rice guy, CEO from a Rise Bank. So that wouldn't happen.
Well, as far as like ICOs that are coming out through Binance, now I'm assuming there's probably going to be, it's just an assumption, but this is how the crypto world works. Someone's going to claim that they're working with Binance when they're not. Like I know for sure that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, that's typical.
Oh, we're a Binance backed whatever, and then CZ's going to come out on Twitter and like officially renounce them.
Right.
But then people that don't follow CZ aren't going to see that, and all they're going to see is Binance, and by then it's too late. So hopefully there's like a section on Binance where it's like, here's the official ICOs. This is the only place that you should get.
I'm sure they will, because whenever they like announce new listings and stuff, they have like a whole place for that.
In their like news section.
Right.
Or
I'm sure they'll probably like add somewhere on their website where you can see that what's listed and what's not listed.
And they make a ton of money. Let me tell you, Binance makes a ton of money, and the
I
fees
wish I
are
could be
so
Binance.
cheap.
I wish I could be Binance.
I don't know if I would want to be Binance specifically. Wouldn't mind being Changpeng. Let me tell you that right now. He's got some money, that guy.
Yeah.
So
we'll get there one day. Anyways, so I don't know what it is, but it's probably not legal in the U.S. Binance is cool though. One of the few of the known, I'm assuming, KYC exchanges. I think this SpaceX news with XYO is gonna make it fly.
KYC. Binance don't know who I am.
Yeah, KYC. Binance doesn't do KYC. So the thing about Binance,
they do in 2 occasions. If you want to increase your withdrawal limit per day for more than 2 Bitcoin.
More than 2, yeah.
So right now I can do 2 Bitcoin per day because I haven't given them any ID or anything like that whatsoever.
Right.
And then if you get locked out of your account,
yeah, if you need
then
to
they
recover.
require you to send documentation and all sorts of stuff. It's a little bit of a process, but I've actually had to help a few people who got locked out of their Binance. So that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun at all.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt me none, but it just sure wasn't fun for them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because they're really really high on security. So, don't get locked out of your Binance account, please.
But as far as KYC, I have not given Binance not one piece of information.
Yeah.
They have my email address.
Yeah. So if you're if it's over that 2 BTC limit, yes, but under that, no. So you're fine in terms of KYC. But who is it that you don't know what it is, but it's probably legal in the U.S.? Are you referring to Binance? You don't know who it is, but legal in the U.S.? Because Binance is one of the biggest exchanges. If you don't know who Binance is, my friend, I'm pretty sure there's a link in our description somewhere.
There sure is a link in the description for you to sign up to the Binance exchange.
Yeah, it's one of the cheapest exchanges. It's one of the largest, most trusted, safest exchanges. I would highly, highly recommend them.
Very fast, no downtime.
Very fast. I don't know. I mean, Coinbase is cool. They're a cool little, little exchange for, the few coins that they offer. However,
that's how you get in. You get in the game on Coinbase.
I wouldn't recommend anyone to stay there. I would definitely venture outside, become a true investor, and definitely jump on an actual full functioning exchange. Now,
I'm going to stop you right there and say that Coinbase Pro is a fully featured exchange. They just don't have the same amount of coins that Binance has.
Right.
Binance has a ton of coins.
Right. Which is what I'm saying. Like, you have more options. You got more wiggle room.
Binance is also the people that own Trust Wallet. So I know a lot of people that are watching right now know exactly what Trust Wallet is. Binance bought Trust Wallet because it was such a good wallet, and now they develop it in-house.
Wow,
so
that's cool.
It's good info to know.
Max has used Binance all the time. I'm glad you use Binance all the time. Binance is cool. Don't go to KuCoin.
One of these days, we're just not even going to mention KuCoin in these.
Was it on KuCoin that whole oyster thing went down? I think it was.
Oyster Pearl?
Yes.
I think it was KuCoin.
If you guys don't know what Oyster Pearl is, that was a
exit scam.
Yeah, it was an exit scam basically. Like they're I don't remember how much it fell, but it was like 1,000%.
So
so bad.
Okay, didn't fall 1,000%. You can only fall 100%.
It lost 1,000% of its gains, maybe.
You can't lose any more than 100%.
What do you mean? When someone says like, "Hey, it's up by 400%,"
it can go up by any amount of percent it wants to, but then from there it can only go down 100%.
So it went down like it wasn't at like negative something.
Well, it couldn't have been negative. Who's paying negative money for a coin?
I don't know, but it was like negative something when I looked it up.
So, anyways,
crazy numbers.
Anyways, so what happened with Oyster Pearl is that was a super big exit scam where the original developer apparently left like a back door to be able to create his own tokens like out of thin air. So he just created tokens out of thin air and then sold a bunch of them, and that caused the value to go down. And that was after like it went up like 100% in whatever time frame it was. Like they went up a significant percent. And like the day before, I saw someone tweet like, "Oh my gosh, Oyster Pearl is up so much percent. I'm gonna buy so much more." Da da da. And then just in the middle of the night, it just was it was all bad. It was all bad.
All bad.
So that's Oyster Pearl for you. This story was okay. Wasn't anything really crazy happening there. I've known that Binance was gonna start doing or listing ICOs like of their own. I didn't know that they were gonna have their own blockchain, which is pretty cool. I wonder what that means for the BNB token. Like where is that gonna be? NB. I made a joke.
Anyways, so back to Max. He said he was referring to the ICOs on their new blockchain. They might not be legal in the U.S. So looks in Games and Tokens commented, I'm sure they would disclose that information and and countries that can and cannot participate. So that would be correct. Definitely would disclose any information of countries that can and cannot participate.
So here's a fun question for everyone. Where is Binance located?
So I know the guy's Asian, and I think they have a headquarters in like San Fran or something.
They have headquarters all over the place, but where does this exchange actually live?
I don't know. Where does it live?
The world may never know.
The world may never know.
That's one of the things that Binance does is like they don't fall under any jurisdiction because like nobody really knows where they are. Like obviously like they have another headquarters like in Malta, and they're trying to like they're trying to have like a decentralized exchange that's set up in Malta because Malta is very like forgiving to blockchain companies and like allows them to just kind of do what they do, right? But one thing CZ has always done is just kind of keep a low profile when it comes to.
They're probably offshore somewhere. They're probably offshores most.
I don't think so. I think they have to be somewhere. But my point in all this is that like Binance doesn't fall under any specific jurisdiction, right?
Which is why I'm assuming they're offshores.
If they were to list an ICO that's not possible in the United States, and we're not from the United States, so if you're already signed up and you just want to.
Right.
Because like, how do you stop Binance from being like? You would have to literally like petition an ISP to like stop allowing people to go to Binance. Like they would have to call AT&T and Comcast and all these people and be like, oh, like don't let your customers go to Binance anymore, because you're not going to stop Binance from doing what Binance wants to do.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
That's how I feel about that.
But like I said, I'm sure they would disclose all that information prior than just you getting on it. Like of course it's on there, but there's white papers. There's countries that can and cannot participate. That's also disclosed. And I'm sure based off your IP address, you would be able to participate or not participate, of course.
Maybe not.
Well, no, based off your IP address, I'm sure.
Maybe not.
You can change your IP address. Now it's a different story.
But would Binance block you based on your IP? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think they would do that.
I don't know.
Why would they? I wouldn't do that.
I don't know. Is there a way that maybe a country can come after them and go like, "Hey, you didn't block this person. This person was really."
But come after who? Where? You feel me? Like, how do you?
CZ's a guy. He exists. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they make the appearances. They exist, but like,
come and find me.
Can they?
Come and find me.
I'm done. It looks like a little bit going on in the chat here. Hong Kong, Malta. Yep. So we registered in multiple locations, and we have. So we register. Okay, so it looks like somebody Crypto EE. Looks like you have something. I like that we. He's talking with we.
Wasn't Crypto EE the one last time he was like an insider for something, but then he was joking about it. Get out of here.
So we are registered in multiple locations, and we have people in multiple locations. That's why we will never be affected by one regulatory body. That's from Binance.
Okay.
So he was speaking in the third person.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, in the second person. That's not a person.
Anyways, the world falls under the jurisdiction of the SEC. True. Not the way it should be, but the way it generally works, because every country does have its own Securities Exchanging Commission. So.
But that's only if you're exchanging securities, and the easiest. So this is the thing that people don't understand about ICOs in the United States. You're allowed to have an ICO in the United States, right? Because it's just another fundraising measure.
Right.
What you're not allowed to do is sell people an unregistered security. And it's really easy to not sell an unregistered security. In order for you to not be a registered security, people can't anticipate a profit based on your work. Otherwise, that's a security.
Right.
But if you're just buying a token that's used for whatever network it is,
purposes.
Like if your token is only usable at, like when you go to Chuck E. Cheese and you change your fiat for those tokens, you can only use it at Chuck E. Cheese. So they're not selling you a security. If someone decides that they want to pay more money for Chuck E. Cheese tokens after you bought them, Chuck E. Cheese has no bearing on that, right? Like if there was an exchange for like all the different arcades in the world, and you could just, oh, I want to trade Chuck E. Cheese tokens for like Pizza Planet tokens or whatever.
Pizza Planet. What?
The one from Toy Story.
Ah, I see.
So, if you decide that you want to do that, and somebody was going to give you more money than you initially paid for those Chuck E. Cheese tokens, Chuck E. Cheese will have nothing to do with that.
I want pizza.
The tokens are usable on whatever network. So
Right,
once you open
right.
the doors to Chuck E. Cheese, you can use those tokens, right? So it's the same thing with these ICOs.
Mhm.
Now, what ICOs should not do is say things, and I'm gonna call out XYO here a little bit. What XYO does sometimes, and what they should not do, is use words like "to the moon." Using words like "to the moon," to me as somebody who invested in the XYO tokens, sounds like they want those tokens to be valued higher than they're currently valued.
Right, of course.
So saying like, oh, we need these tokens to be valued at a higher level is not the same thing as saying like, oh, XYO is going to go to the moon and stuff like that. That's where you get into
it a little bit.
right. That's where you get into dangerous
Yeah,
waters because
right,
it's
because you're now saying things that may or may not be true.
not even just may or may not be true, but you're insinuating that like you're like the value of the tokens is going to go up based on your work.
Right.
Which that would then make it a security, which is why they had it blocked for people in the United States or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There were ways around that, obviously, but it's just not something that you should do.
Right.
Right? Like, that's why they had their whole separate offering. There was a Reg A from the SEC where you could actually buy equity in the company because that is disclosed. Like, this will go up in value based on our work, right? But
Right.
the tokens, when they were selling those, you're not supposed to say these tokens are going to go up in value.
Right.
They're supposed to say these are the tokens that are used for participation in the network. And so when I see like people like Johnny, he's one of the admins for XYO. When I see people like him talking about the tokens and whatnot, he specifically says these are used for accessing the XYO network, right?
Right,
It's for a query of location data, and this is how you pay. It's the currency of the network. That's fine. But saying stuff like, oh, this token is going to go to the moon is just, that has SEC please raise me like all over it.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful that you say
So-
things, word things. Just gotta be safe. It looks like
Speaking of, I'm going to go ahead and pull
Max
up.
X said they took down BTCE. They can find anyone, possibly. But it is also, and then Crypto E said copy pasta. Max also said, but it's also only available to certain types of investors. You need $1 million usually, or an income in the low six figures to be an accredited investor in the U.S.
That's really annoying.
Wouldn't that apply to ICOs? So yes, that is true.
Unless it's a utility token. If it's a utility token, none of that matters.
Yeah, that's true.
So if in order to invest, you have to be an accredited investor. But if I'm not investing, if I'm buying a token that's going to be used for a network, and then later on that network is of a higher value, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me or with the network or with any, you know what I mean? Like, obviously the network is being like, okay, so for XYO, right? It's obviously being built up by the XY. Apparently they're being called the XY Persistent Company now. They're not the XY Findables Company anymore. So
Persistent company.
because they're not going anywhere. That was the I hate the name. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like the name. I liked it before. Findables. It makes sense. You can lose stuff. You can find it. Like I really liked the name before, but they're going a different way with the marketing, which whatever I'm okay with. But anyways, so obviously the XYO Oracle or the XY Oracle network is made up of bridges and sentinels, and the company has to make them, ship them, and so like they're responsible as far as like manufacturing the products that are going to be used on that network.
Right.
But as far as like pushing for adoption and like actual people have to be willing to use it, and then as more and more people are willing to use it, then obviously the price will go up because of that. So they're kind of safe in that regard, but they should probably stop saying stuff like "to the moon," honestly, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Because you don't see like Vitalik Buterin saying stuff like that.
Yeah, no. Companies usually, I mean, sometimes you'll see like people who are highly profiled in communities say that, but very, very rarely will you see a founder of a company say that, just because of security purposes.
But I've literally witnessed the founders of this company saying
Say that,
things
yeah,
like that.
it's,
You shouldn't do it.
Little risky there.
You shouldn't do it,
Little
because then if
risky
the SEC comes down and they're like, oh, by the way, then anybody who participated in the equity or the initial token sale would be able to do a class action lawsuit. So it's we're getting into a little bit of dangerous, territory there regarding that. So I'm very hopeful that doesn't end up happening, because I really like those guys. I think they're doing a great thing for the world. There are other blockchains that purport to do a very similar thing. But competition is healthy.
Right.
Foam Space is one of those other blockchains that's doing that. So we'll see what goes on there. I don't know. I'm going to actually pull that up real quick. So we're just looking at a chart really, really quick here of XYO. And this was where it was at during our
Really
last
quick,
video.
'cause I want a snack.
And then it kind of came down a bit, went back up, down a bit, went back up, and now here we are.
But look at it. Look at that. Look at that.
So that's going to, like I was saying, that
Wow.
represents a pretty decent gain.
Wow. That's cool. That's nice. I like that.
So I'm going to go back into full screen. I think I did that right. Yeah. So in 4 days, 147%.
Well, if you have some XYO, I hope you look very fruitful right now, because that looks promising.
So my only thing about this is that I've seen a lot of people that are just like, oh, my investment's doing great. My investment's doing great. Yes, right now your investment is doing fantastic. And honestly, there's a really good chance that for all the people that were new to crypto that got in with XYO, this would have been like the perfect first move. Because I'll tell you what, my first couple investments did not look like this.
Right.
I had to learn some harsh lessons and see the harsh reality of cryptocurrency.
Someone says, take the profits. Yes, pigs get slaughtered. Be careful, guys.
Yeah, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So don't be a pig. I don't have enough in for me to want to take profits right now, but I am 100% up the 147 some odd percent that we see here now. My only thing is I just don't want people to feel like this is what cryptocurrency is for everyone all the time, because it's not. This was just kind of a great... I identified this early on when I was first telling you guys about it. I wasn't able to buy the tokens at first. I was able to buy the equity, so we made the unboxing video for that.
Right.
Then I found out how to buy the tokens, made a video for that. Somewhere way back here.
Are we going down by any chance? So one of our viewers wants to know, are we going down fast? In terms of the chart, XYO, is it going down? Is it just doing a thing? What's it at right now?
Is it going down?
Yeah.
No, yeah. So what we're looking at right now is an uptrend. So something like that is kind of the trend that we're in right now. It's going up. It's possible that it comes down and cools off and does a few things.
Like a 5-minute chart?
So really choppy because you don't really have full candles on a 5-minute chart, but it's still an uptrend. Kind of moving sideways.
It looks like it's doing.
I would be surprised at this point if we revisited old levels, like from when I first made the video. I would be very, very surprised if we revisited those old levels. Just based on the fact that right now you can really only buy it on IDEX, right? So once there's more exchanges in the future, it's going to be easier to kind of not manipulate the price, but for the price to go down more significantly. But with there only being one place right now, and most of the people that have it are people that want to hold it, like there's not a lot of I don't want to say there's not a lot of savvy traders that are trading XYO, but there's not, people aren't using bots to automate their trades for XYO. It's not a thing like that right now.
No, not yet. It
once
doesn't have the volume for it yet.
Yeah, once it has an annoying level of volume to where more people are looking at it and want to do those kind of shady things, it might. But right now you mostly have a lot of buying pressure, which is good. And I'd like to think that maybe I might have helped out with that by making it super, super easy to get in there.
He's trying to give himself credit, but whatever.
I didn't make a video on how to sell XYO. I'll tell you what. Made a video on how to buy it. So.
Oh, man. So looking at our chat here, it looks like the Gamma Cell kept the price down for a long time, according to Crypto EE.
I believe that because it was the price was what it was in the Gamma. They didn't change it, just like they didn't change the price of the stock. And so this now that Gamma's over and this is the only place to buy it, we're seeing a lot of buying pressure happening here. In the past few days, I've seen a significant increase in the amount of people that are like, "But how do I buy it?"
Yeah, because they're looking at this chart and like, "Whoa, no way, I need more."
I've seen a ton of people trying to figure out how to buy it. So I'm here to help, guys. Whenever you have questions, bother me because it doesn't bother me. Just let me know where you're at, how I can help you, whatever questions you might have. I tried to make the video as like encompassing as I could, and like most people have found like, oh, I watched your video, thanks so much. But then I have some people that are just like, but what do I do here and then this part too?
Yeah, when you hold your hand.
Which that's fine because the hand holding aspect of things is the reason why I got the idea for our new venture that will be rolling out Q1 2019.
Soon, guys.
Crypto customer service coming to a computer near you.
Computer near you. Very true. Just going to read a few more comments off here. Max says this and waves. It was natural for it to bounce up. A lot of people have bought into the Reg A stock and want a piece of the crypto too. Max says is not familiar with XYO. So
okay.
He's not very familiar with XYO. Crypto EE says it's getting on a new exchange with 50 million daily volume this week. And the following week, SpaceX News, XYO launching space anchor satellites for the XYO network. So that could possibly also increase a lot of its volumes if it's going to get relisted somewhere else.
Once they launch a satellite or two or whatever, like using SpaceX or whatever.
Yeah, no, people are going to be attracted to that big time.
The fact that they're just launching a satellite is going to be like news in itself. And then people are going to venture to try to see what it is. And then people are going to try to venture to see, how they can buy it. And it's more buying pressure. Really briefly, XYO is essentially a decentralized proof of location system. It adds a second layer to GPS. They kind of initially marketed as replacing GPS, but that's not the case. What they're actually doing is just adding another layer to it. So instead of like GPS pinpointing, okay, this one thing is here, and you needing like an expensive transponder for that, there's going to be these little, there's going to be bridges like that would sit, in my house, my neighbor's house, whatever, on a FedEx truck, wherever it is, and then little sentinels, little tags, I guess you could call them, that'll be out there in the real world, and you'll be able to use the bridges to track where the sentinels are, and everything will all talk to each other and kind of prove this was definitely here.
Right.
So the example I used last time was if I get a package, FedEx is going to say it's delivered and then leave, but then if someone comes and picks up that package and walks past, a neighbor's house that has
a sentinel
or a bridge, they'll be able to track where that package is. Like, oh, it left. It's over here now. So
yes, so
that's just one application. There's so many applications.
That's needed.
You chip your kids.
Chip your kids.
Hey.
Why not?
Hey.
I guess why not?
Any other comments?
Are we back up online? Oh, it looks like we're good. Okay, wow. That recorder, that eats battery. That's crazy.
Literally eats them.
It just drains them.
I thought it was the what's it called, batteries at first, but it's not. It's just any batteries. The rechargeable ones.
Mhm.
It's not. It's just all batteries.
It just eats them. That's crazy. Yeah, just check the audio level, make sure we're all good here. So where were we? We were talking about so you had mentioned that XYO doesn't have a BTC market yet. Like we said, it's fairly new. And like Crypto E had mentioned, they're going to be listed on a new exchange. I guess sometime this week.
I tried to like research what exchange that might be, but there's just so many of them. Like I don't know which one has. Was it 50K in weekly volume or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, eventually, I'm going to assume that they're going to be pegged to BTC, but right now they're just an Ethereum-based token, because that's just what they run on. Also, it looks like crypto plus Elon Musk is a meme. Maybe.
What?
Crypto plus Elon Musk is a meme.
Okay. I see what you did there. So, yes. Elon Musk and crypto don't actually go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And so I think he's just kind of poking fun at the whole SpaceX thing.
Possibly.
Luckily, it wasn't a partnership with SpaceX, like I had originally speculated. I had originally said that, like, I don't think that when they say the word partnership, they mean partnership. I'm pretty sure that SpaceX is just going to send their satellites up for them. I was right about that. So, what else we got cooking in there?
So Tom here says, ew, venture Q1 2019, otherwise 2018. Well, a Q1 can be anywhere between January and March. So if you're definitely launching something in March, that's way out of 2018. So maybe, so not really.
Hold on, what? Venture? Where was that part?
Right here, Tom. Venture Q1 2019, where you had mentioned that we're going to be launching something. Venture 1 quarter 2019.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I say 2019 Q1, I literally mean like probably January.
Probably January?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just getting everything in place right now. Everything's really moving along great. Increased security, etc., is all up and running.
Cool.
So just
so it looks like there's something happening.
Trying to wall off different sections that need to be walled off, and we are
new venture Q1 in 2019, not 2018. No, you had said 2018.
Getting everything. I said Q1 2018. I don't think so.
I don't know.
Maybe this is drunk crypto, so that's definitely possible.
Possibly, it's a thing.
So from now until the beginning of January is the working phase of everything, where I'm getting all the kinks out, and making sure that everything works in the way that it needs to. Redesigning our entire website from literally the ground up, because according to our wonderful hosting partner, we weren't able to upgrade our hosting. I had to get new hosting. And then migrating everything over, I opted not to do that and just literally rebuild everything from the ground up. So yeah, that is a thing. But yeah, we should be up and running January of 2019 with this new website. So
seems like a fair deal.
Don't want to spoil all the details, but it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be huge.
Stop. Oh no. So it looks like some of our audience here thinks that that exchange that XYO is going to be listed on, maybe Bittrex or Cryptopia. If it's listed on Cryptopia, Max can't wait. If it's a 50 million volume, I can't wait either. Personally,
I'm not mad at either of those two options, as long as I didn't say the K word.
The K word.
Don't do it.
KuCoin.
I will sell all of my XYO the minute they get listed on KuCoin, if that's a thing.
That's kind of funny.
I refuse. I refuse.
That's so funny.
Oh man. So that's pretty much all the news as far as like any news that we got today.
Yeah.
XYO is still making great gains. It's kind of doing like a sideways thing right now.
Yeah, I see it.
I think the price might come down a little bit from where it's at right now. Cool off. I don't think it's gonna get.
It's gonna readjust, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get lower than, let me just say, like right around this area. Just based on previous levels that we kind of reached. But yeah, I mean, everything's looking great. And then, like I was saying, I mean, not a lot of people know about it. Not a lot of people are using it. Well, no one's really using XYO right now.
Not just yet.
Can't
eventually.
can't pay to track stuff just yet. But as soon as that comes out, wow, this thing's gonna take off. The one of the main reasons that I really like them is the marketing they do. They're just all over the place, just all over the internet. You really can't go anywhere without seeing XYO. So very excited to see what the future looks like for that particular currency.
I too am excited. For right now, it looks like crypto E thinks it's gonna go up. It's only at 0.5% right now. Well, of course it's gonna go up. Everything's gonna go up. Just hold on. For the most part, but definitely the market's gonna readjust. That's just the way it works. It's gonna readjust. But if more people obviously keep jumping in and keep buying at the market price level, of course it's gonna go up. Why not? So for the most part, we'll definitely keep an eye on it. We'll keep you guys updated. And honestly, till next time on our Drunk Crypto, maybe not so drunk. I don't know. Liver. We need liver. And we don't have health insurance for bits and tokens yet. You better watch out. I can't afford you. I can't afford you just yet.
Yeah. No. I hate to break it to you. You're going to have to start looking in the private health sector.
Ooh.
You might want to find a free clinic.
A free clinic. Wow. Is that where I'm going to dump your body at? Okay. All right. Well,
basically, I don't go to the doctor. I'm terrible. I'm the worst.
Not with these drinking habits. But anyways, guys, we'll definitely catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. Have a great week. Happy investing. Don't cry. Just hold on if you need to. If not, make sure you have some savvy trading deals. We're here for you. So if you have any questions, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, reach out to us. We have a Facebook page. We have a Telegram. We have emails. We have every possible method of communication you can possibly ever think of on the face of this earth. And there's also this guy. So you can find him on Facebook as well. And we'll see you guys next time on Bits and Tokens.
Bye.